So if you're capable and then you're intelligent and then you still feel overwhelmed, this is not a motivation problem. This is a load problem. So what happens is that intelligent people, they process more information because they want to achieve, their goals. They want to multitask. They want to do different things at different times. They want to strategize to achieve different goals, you know, probably at the same time. And then doing this is like it's a cognitive load in the sense that trying to achieve different things at the same time or trying to multitask, it kind of overloads your brain. And then what the brain does is your brain starts to more like it starts to protect you in the sense that it reduces motivation. So that's when you start feeling stressed, overwhelmed, and then even less energy. So this is not laziness, this is protection. Once your brain starts to tell you that, or once you start feeling tired, once you start feeling lazy, once you start feeling stressed, your brain is actually telling you that you need to take a break. You need to, reduce your pace. So at that point, you wouldn't want to add more pressure to your brain. You would want to reduce the level of variables or information that your brain, handles. So the thing is, there is this part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex. So this part of the brain helps you to plan and then it helps you to make decisions. So when you're constantly imputing more data or more variables or even more information in your brain, your prefrontal cortex become overloaded. And that's when you start feeling so much stress and overwhelm. And at that point, you would want to, procrastinate. Not like you cannot achieve your goals, no, but because you're already feeling too tired, you're feeling too stressed, you're feeling too overstimulated. That's because you're adding more pressure to your brain. So at that point, if you don't stop, your brain will start, feeling much more pressure, and then you start breaking down. So high functioning people tend to fix overload with more work. So what they do is they tend to add more pressure, more discipline, push further just to achieve their goal. But when you do this, it definitely backfires. It backfires in a way that the more you try to add more work, add more discipline, add more pressure to achieving that which you want to achieve, you become more stressed because you're adding so much pressure and so much work overload to your nervous system. So at that point, they start to break down. Imagine adding more stress to an unregulated nervous system. Imagine what happens to that nervous system. So at this point, I'll give you 3 practical reset strategies you would use to regulate. So the first one is that you have to reduce inputs. How do you reduce inputs? On your device, right? All those tabs that are open, your laptop, your MacBooks, your iPads, your tablets, you have to close them down because the more you see them, the more you would want to, or the more you would be pushed to want to achieve those things you want to achieve by seeing them open. The second thing you have to do is that you have to silence notifications because the more you receive notification, the more your brain tells you, oh, I'm left behind. I need to achieve this, So you would want to go ahead and add more motivation to achieve these goals. So you have to close silent notification. And then the third one is that you have to pick tasks singly in the sense that you cannot pick 2 tasks at the same time. You have to pick one task and try to achieve that task. Then the second thing you have to do is to regulate your body physiologically. So the physiology is like the normal functioning of your body. So what you have to do is you have to inhale 4 times, hold your breath 4 times, and then exhale 6 times. So you have to do this 2 times. This is very, very important because it keeps your nervous system going. It makes you feel very relaxed. This is something that each and every one of us should be doing every now and then. But a lot of people tend to not do it because they don't see the importance of doing this. But it's very, very important to the physiological functioning of your body. So the third strategy I'll be giving you, practical strategies, is that you have to pick your task singly in a way that you just have to pick one task, and then you have to complete that task before you jump, you know, onto the second or onto the third task. So, lastly, I would like to say that when you feel overwhelmed, it doesn't mean you're weak, or it doesn't mean you're lazy, or it doesn't also mean that you're incapable of achieving your goals. It only means that your nervous system is overloaded, and then your nervous system is overstimulated. So, at that point, you would need to regulate it. So regulation is very essential because it helps you, it boosts your motivation to continue what it is, whatever it is you want to achieve. So if this helped, I'd like you to subscribe, because I'll be sharing more practical strategies that will help you regulate your body system.